Shalom, and all praises to the Most High. Um, excuse me. I'm making this video. Um, like I said, I was gonna document my journey um, in this truth. Um, there's so much has happened since the last video that I actually made. Um, about a week ago, I was picking my son up from school because of um, some things that was going on at his home school. I took him out of that school, and excuse me, I got a little eyebrows. I'm sorry. Um, I took him out of his home school and placed him into another school um, to get him away from gang activity and violence, basically. Since he's been at this other school, he's been doing very good. So starting out, I had to um, take him. I would come home for work at 7 o'clock in the morning, and when I got off, and I would come home, pick him up, and then take him to school. And then, when school was out, I would go and pick him up and bring him home. So I've been doing this for months. And last week, which was last Thursday, the school called because he's had a few tardies from this commute. Sometimes, depending on how that morning, how that traffic is, he gets to school a little late. So he's had some tardies and quite a few tardies. So the school had called, and towards the end of 2016, I had mentioned to my son that I'm gonna probably have to find him another school because it had gotten to the point to where the tardies were causing a problem, to where the school was calling and sending letters home talking about truancy and basically threatening to send the guardian to court because of truancy. So I said, well, we don't need to be going to court for this. So what I'm going to have to do is probably find you another school. So on the return of school from the Christmas and New Year holiday, the kids are out of school. He had mentioned to one of his teachers that he would be leaving the school soon because, like I said, I had already started putting things in preparation for him to enter into another school. I was just basically waiting for them to call me back for me to bring in paperwork or what have you. So they called me, and first thing that popped in my head was, oh my goodness, what has he done now? I just dropped him off at school. What didn't happen now? And the counselor told me, she said, well, Shantavius had told us that he would be switching schools soon. And I said, yes. I went on to explain to her why, I had made the choice to take him out of that school. And she said, well, we really don't want to lose Shantavius. And it shocked me. And now I've been having a few shockers, and I'm going to get to that. She said, we really don't want to lose Shantavius. He's a good student. I suggested to Shantavius if there was a problem with the commute, with you bringing him to school, that I could arrange to get a school bus to come to your house and pick him up. I said, what? I said, a school bus come to the house. She said, well, not directly to the house, but, come in a location to where he could make to a bus stop and the school bus can pick him up. I said, well, okay, so what is required of me to, make this happen? And she said, well, the only thing Shantavius needs to do is to enter into one of our magnet programs. And I said, well, did Shantavius say that he wanted to stay there? And she said, yes. She said, I believe that's why he came to me and mentioned um, having, the thing about him moving to another school. And I said, well, sure, I was excited. I was very happy that this opportunity came about for him because it's been kind of hard here where I live. Um, it's a lot of gang activity going on, and I mean, to be honest with you, my son, I'm not gonna make it paint a picture as he's been the best. He's had his run with whatever's going on out here. But the thing of it is, when I see my son trying to change and he's not trying to, be involved, but because of past things, it keeps coming at him, then I have to do what I have to do to get him out of that situation. And pretty much that's what it was. Um, and since he's been out of that situation, he's been doing great. I mean, grades has been the best I've seen in almost 2 years. I mean, no lie. Um, and I didn't want to disrupt that, but at the same time, I was juggling what was the best decision to do because I was running out of options, and then the door came open for this. So um, that's one of the blessings I wanted to put out there that me and my family have received, that I really truly believe and know that it was from the Most High, because I was pretty much at my wits end because I didn't really know what was going to go on at this new school, um, who would be at this new school, that it was just. But where he's at, I know everything is okay because it's been okay, and hasn't been a problem um, at all. The only problems we've actually had was the attendance as far as him getting to school on time. That was the issue. So now that's no longer an issue. He has a school bus that picks him up in the morning and a school bus that brings him home in the afternoon. So um, I'm very, very delighted about that, and feel very most blessed because I don't even think I can explain. And maybe, I'm not saying like the schools here where I live is worse than any schools anywhere else. And but I just can't explain it. It's just, sending your child to school and not knowing if you're gonna get a phone call that the school is getting shot up, or your son is about to get jumped, son or daughter, or they have gotten into a fight. It's just unnecessary stress that shouldn't even be going on, but it does daily. Okay, now to move right along to the other blessing that I feel in my heart and mind that it came from the Most High. Um, I consider myself a infant in the truth. Um, Despite the fact of me knowing about it for over 2, 3 years. Um, but throughout this time, I have shared what I've learned from watching videos and even getting into the Bible, and I really am hesitant on how much I talk about because when you learning on your own and you really don't have no guidance, um, a lot of it is self interpretation, and I sometimes I'm kind of unsure. So my main thing of like what I share is basically who we are as a people, um, as a nation of people, with whoever who asks me. I've had a lot of my I have three sons, but I've had a lot of their friends ask me questions. Who are the Hebrew Israelites? What is being a Hebrew Israelite? And things like that. And I explain the best that I can, and you know, kind of push videos that kind of go into depth that I've seen, and I really like because they kind of explain and give a visual of those questions, those answers to those questions. So, okay, with that being said, okay, the school thing happened that Thursday that I picked him. Well, actually, after I dropped him off at school, uh, maybe 30, 45 minutes later, that's when I got that phone call. But come that Friday, I picked my son up from school. Of course, I was off that day. So, I'm pretty much like, what you want to do today? Do you want to go out and get something to eat and watch TV? Or, what's your plans for this weekend? That's what I'm asking my son. And he said, I don't know. I said, well, what do you want to eat? He was like, well, Wendy's. I was like, Wendy's? But okay, I treat, what you gonna get. So I take him, so we on our way from the school to Wendy's. And my son just came out of the blue and said, Mama, I want to get baptized. Now, mind you, my son is 15 years old. I have never, even before I came into the truth, I've never pushed any religion on my sons. We have went to church. We have went to a study group mosque slash thing with the Nation of Islam. I mean, we've kind of dibbled and dabbed, before coming into the truth, before me gaining the knowledge of what the truth is. Okay, because I was kind of like in a soul searching area in my life too, and I took my sons along with me to open their minds, and I've always told them, I'm not forcing this point upon you, but just open your mind and get what you can get from it, But that was the first time in the 15 years of my life, of my son's life, I've ever heard him say those words. And it shocked me. I looked over at him on the passenger side of my truck and I said, you want to get baptized? And he said, yes, ma'am. I said, well, I had to ask. I said, well, what do you want to get baptized as? Christian? We get a Hebrew Israelite? What is it that you want to get baptized as? He said Hebrew. I said, you know what, baby? I do too. So I was amazed that my son, and like I said, I haven't forced anything on him, merely we talk. I talk to him since since it's been him and I here lately. We have I've talked to him a lot. Me and him have had a lot of quality time together, and we've just talked, and he's asked questions, and I guess he's gotten to the point to where he's like, I'm searching for more. I'm searching for more than what Mama can give me right now, and that's okay. I'm loving it. I had to come home and I had to kneel. And the feeling was so unreal. and thank the Most High. I really did, because I was just like, this is amazing, you know. So it took me a few days, to kind of reach out to someone to kind of get the ball going for my son and me. And I kind of backtracked um, to a wonderful woman that I first met when I came originally into the truth of, you know, um, and I reached out to her, and I kind of told, I told her, that what my son said. And she said, well, you know what? She said, I'm gonna have start having a study group, and I will invite you and your son to come. So as soon as she shot me this message, I called him into the room. I said, well, Shantavius, it's cool. You know, they having a study group this Saturday. Do you want to go? He was like, yes, ma'am. So this is Friday the 12th. So well, January the 12th is on the Friday. Actually, it's Sabbath right now. It's Friday night. So in the tomorrow, Saturday, which would be January the 13th, we will be going to our first study group in a long time. Since I don't know, 2015 maybe. Thinking no, I take that back. We've been to a study group since then, but with these certain people, I say it would be 2015, because I have met another sister who was in the truth, and we paid a few visits to her house and went to a few of her study groups, but and then I went to some on my own that were really mainly just the women, you know. But I did express to the sister that I will be visiting, me and my son will be visiting her, going to a study group, that I kind of wanted to just work with the women for right now, because truth be told, I'm a work in progress, and I'm not healed, so a lot of weaknesses that I know that I struggle with right now is something that I don't want to act like don't exist. I don't want to use it as a crutch neither, but I don't want to allow or put myself in a vulnerable position to let that hinder me. So I know I had expressed to her that I really would like to just work with her for the time being, and maybe my son can work with a male, to kind of teach him some things of how he needs to conduct himself as a young man, and what he needs to just get him where he needs to be. I really don't know how it works with the males and males, you know. But I just thought that I would share that, and yeah, it's been a lot of changes going on, and it's just, to me, it's just so amazing how, a person, once they set in their mind and their heart and say, this is what I need in my life, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to accomplish that. I really need and have a want to give my all to the Most High. And the more and more steps I take, the more and more, I talk to Him, and the more I see things just happening in a good way, you know. And it's just a feeling that, you don't wanna let go. Um, and I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful that I'm here at this point, at this starting point right now. I'm so grateful that I'm here. Um, so that's the end of this, I guess, this video. I just had to share um, a piece of my journey. And I'm pretty sure the more I get into these study groups, the more study groups I have, the more enlightened um, I will become. I guess the videos will change. But like I said, from the start, I want to be as genuine and real about this journey and my experiences as I possibly can. I don't want to throw no salt on nobody. I don't want to step on nobody's toes. I don't even want to trip over my own feet. I just want to do it the best way that the Most High has set for me. And right now, I feel like He's putting everything into place for me. Um, so all I have to do is just follow His lead, and that's what my plan is. Um, so with that being said, I'm going to say shalom and blessings to everybody, and I'll see you next time. Shalom.